So this is the first part of chapter 10, Trigonometry 1. We're going to start by reviewing the unit circle. I know that you know this from last year, but I prefer to review this one. When I say unit circle, it means the radius of the circle is 1. That's why all the time you know that the condition we say that cosine and sine is between -1 and 1. Because if I want to find the coordinates of those points here, this point here is 1, 0. Isn't it? X is 1, Y is 0. This one is X is 0, Y 1. So here it's X is -1, Y is 0. And here it's X 0 and Y -1. That's why we say that cosine and sine are between 0 and 1. So this is my unit circle, and from the unit circle I will find the value of the particular angles. We know them يعني the angle 0, the angle pi, the angle pi over 2, 3 pi over 2, the angle pi over 6, pi over 3, and 60 و 90 و 45. Okay, how we will do it? I will do with you two unit circles, one related to all the angles related to pi over 4, the second one related to pi over 6. Okay, but you need to understand what is the meaning of the unit circle. And if I have here a 90 degree, okay? It means if I'm moving from this point till this point, and I'm doing an angle pi over 2. Pi over 2 يعني 90 degrees, okay? Pi over 2 هي 90. ليه 90؟ لأن احنا نقول pi هي 180 over 2 يعني هي 90 degrees. Okay? Now I will cut my 90 two parts. When I'm cutting this يعني صرت أنا هون 45 degrees. When I say 45 يعني it's pi over 4. لأنه pi over 2 over 2 يعني pi over 4. So كيف بدنا نشتغل نحن بس هون؟ نحن نقول 0. This is the angle 0. Pi over 4. Here it's 2 pi over 4. وقت أقول أنا 2 pi over 4 يعني pi over 2. بيجي لهون على المدل 3 pi over 4. 4 pi over 4. وقت أقول 4 pi over 4, it means it's pi. Half of it. 5 pi over 4. Remember this like this. 5 pi over 4. I did 4 guys. Sorry. 6 pi over 4. وقت بقول أنا 6 pi over 4. And when I simplify it by 2 بتطلع 3 pi over 2. هيدا هو الانجل 3 pi over 2. So ما بنحفظ غير هيك. This is the way. So let me just correct this one. So 4 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4. Now 6 pi over 4 and 3 pi over 2. 7 pi over 4. Now 8 pi over 4 يعني كمان 2 pi يعني 0 هو ذاته the angle 2 pi. Now I need to find cosine. يعني what is cosine of pi over 4? What is cosine of pi over 2? Cosine يعني x of this point. يعني أنا هيدا البوينت هون miss. If I want to do the projection شو الأكس of this point؟ يعني هيدا الأكس here this point. يعني if I measure this distance from here to here, what is this distance? At that distance it should be less than 1 أكيد. And the same if I want to find sine of this point. Sine of this point يعني أنا إذا بعمل projection هون, what is y of this one at that distance from here till here. So بيقولوا لنا نحن we know that it's radical 2 over 2 radical 2. بس why it's radical 2 over 2؟ هفسر لكم why it's radical 2. I don't want you to memorize it like this. خلينا ناخد هذا التراينجل لأن هون A B و C. I'll take it out هون تعرفوا ليش نحن كل الباي over 4 related هن radical 2 over 2 radical 2 over 2. Why all the sine cosine related to pi over 6 هن radical 3 over 2 half. I need to understand why. أنا level 4 I need to understand why. So رح آخد هذا التراينجل لبرا. That this is A O C. ما هيك مس؟ نحن عم نقول unit circle. Unit circle يعني this one is 1. هيدا 1. هيدا الانجل is 45 degrees. Okay. هيدا الانجل 90 يعني هيدا 45. It's right isosceles triangle. إذا قلت لكم أنا find the measure of the sides, it's a right isosceles يعني هيدا x and x are equal. Now guys if you do Pythagoras بيعطيكم x squared plus x squared is equal to 1 squared. So عم باخد هيدا التراينجل أنا out. Okay, and I need to find what is the measure of those sides لأنه هيدا السايد هون هو ال x يعني هو ال cosine of pi over 4 و this one هي اللي هي ال y ordinate of this point اللي هي sine of pi over 4. طيب why it's radical 2 over 2 radical 2 over 2 ليه ما بدي احفظ أنا this way. So it's a right triangle, the hypotenuse it's 1 لأنه it's a unit circle. It's 45 degrees يعني right isosceles triangle. Now I do Pythagoras. I will have 2x squared is equal to 1. طلعوا x squared is equal to half يعني x is equal plus or minus radical half. شو هي radical half؟ يعني 1 over radical 2. Now 1 over radical 2 if I rationalize it يعني if I multiply by radical 2 and radical 2 شو صار الانسر يا مس؟ radical 2 over 2. So أنا ما بحفظ it's coming from هيك from هيك the moon هيدي الفاليو radical 2 over 2 أنا عملت بايثاغورس وطلع لي lengths of the sides radical 2 or 2 radical 2 over 2 يعني مس now the measure of this part here هيدي green هي radical 2 over 2 the measure of this one هي radical 2 over 2 يعني now what is cosine of pi over 4 cosine يعني what is x what is the opposite of this point هي radical 2 over 2 مش هيك نحن radical 2 over 2 radical 2 over 2 that's why we say cosine pi over radical 2 over 2 and sine pi over 4 radical 2 over 2 نجي على هيدا البوينت الباي over 2 ليش this point what are its coordinates 0 1 يعني cosine pi over 2 it's 0 sine pi over 2 is 1 البوينت 0 cosine 0 is 1 sine 0 is 0 if you take cosine to pi it's 1 لأنه it's the same point sine 0 بيجي على 3 pi over 4 هلا بدنا ننتبه نحن we know that here cosine و sine are positive بالكوادرنت 2 الكوساين is negative so هون الكوساين minus وماي sine is positive لأنه أنا الساين هو هيل بارت بالكوادرنت 3 okay here the cosine is negative the sine is negative so both are negative cosine minus and sine is negative here in this quadrant I have my cosine is positive and my sine is negative بيجي على هيدا البوينت شو الكوردينيت تبعه the distance is the same he radical 2 over 2 but its cosine is negative so this one will be minus radical 2 over 2 radical 2 over 2 بدي افهم انا ما بدي احفظ so all the angles related to pi over 4 هن radical 2 over 2 radical 2 over 2 but I will see in which quadrant is it's located quadrant 1 both are positive quadrant 2 cosine is negative لانه هاي part هي negative هون صرنا minus 1 sine is positive جينا على 5 pi over 4 both are negative يعني minus radical 2 over 2 and minus radical 2 over 2 يعني الكوساين and sine both are minus radical 2 over 2 جينا على الكوساين الباي يا حي الكوساين باي يعني الاكس هي minus 1 يعني كوساين باي is minus 1 sine باي is 0 جينا على 3 باي over 2 كوساين باي الكوساين هي x so it's 0 sine it's minus 1 now 7 pi over 4 it's in quadrant 4 الكوساين positive يعني أنا بيجي بعمل الأكس I did the same distance هون radical 2 over 2 so radical 2 over 2 the sign is negative يعني إذا بعمل projection هون هيدي distance هون the distance is radical 2 over 2 but it's negative لأنه on the negative side part يعني minus radical 2 over 2 so they have the same distance radical 2 over 2 but negative or positive هول كله related للباي over 4 هلا بيجي أنا عم بعمل angles related لل pi over 6 يعني ل 30 أنا هون عم decomposing كل quadrant هلا 2 parts the same idea بس أنا هلا عم بعمل decompose 2 parts يعني كل part بعملها 30 30 30 30 30 30 يعني أنا عم بعمل each part each quadrant 3 equal parts okay يعني كل وحدة 30 30 30 30 30 يعني 30 يعني pi over 6 بنبلش 0 pi over 6 طلعوا ما أحلاها 2 pi over 6 شو يعني 2 pi over 6 if you simplify by 2 يعني هيدي الباي over 3 يعني هيدي 60 3 pi over 6 يعني هي الباي over 2 4 pi over 6 4 pi over 6 إذا بعملها divide by 2 بتصير 2 pi over 3 5 pi over 6 See how easy is it when you understand what you are doing 6 pi over 6 وتقول أنا 6 pi over 6 يعني this is the pi 7 pi over 6 8 pi over 6 وتقول أنا 8 pi over 6 يعني if I divide it by 2 بتصير 4 pi over 3 9 باي over 6. وقت بقول أنا 9 باي over 6 يعني divided by 3 بتصير 2 باي over 3. طلعت معي قبل the same part باي over 3. 10 باي over 6 ما بحفظ، بفهم الخبرية شو عم بعمل أنا. divided by 2 بتصير 5 باي over 3. شفتوها عينية؟ 11 باي over 6. كمان نحن بيقولوا لنا ايه بس هن كلهم بيكونوا يا radical 3 over 2 يا half. ما هي the same idea. إذا أنا I want to make the orthogonal projection of this one. جيت لهون يعني هيدي هي الأكس يعني هيدي هي الكوساين و this distance is y هي الساين. كمان the same idea هيدا unit circle 1. هون الانجل هو 30 degree. تفهموا ليش هن radical 3 over 2 and half. If I take هيدا كأنه كان equilateral it was a semi equilateral triangle يعني إذا كان هيدا السايد half هيدا يعني هيدا half. That's why this is half. يعني هيدي الديستنس من هون لهون أنا هون عم بيجي على الهاف. If I do Pythagoras رح تطلع معي x radical 3 over 2. So هيدا رح تطلع radical 3 over 2. إذا أنا I do Pythagoras. I'll repeat again. هيدا semi equilateral triangle. يعني it was equilateral أنا I cut in half. So كان side 1 half of it يعني هيدا كان كلها 1 صارت half. Pythagoras بيعطيني the third one radical 3 over 2. So that's why بنقول يا radical 3 over 2 يا half. So بتطلع على pi over 6. الx is radical 3 over 2. الy is half. جاي على mid point ها باينة half. بيجي على pi over 3. جاي الx على half يعني half radical 3 over 2. وبيقلبوا كلهم. كمان I need to look at this sign. بيجي لهون this one where it's coming the x. جاي الx على الhalf. يعني هي بس it's negative. So هون this one cosine it's minus half. والساين look it's radical 3 over 2 لأنه radical 3 over 2 it's approximately رح توصل على ال 1 okay 0. I think 7 something so radical 3 over 2. نرجع what is let me check radical 3 over 2 0.86 radical 2 over 2 0.7. then نجي لهون this one look هيدا radical 3 over 2 لأنه رح تقرب على 1 so this is بس minus radical 3 over 2 and what will be minus radical 3 over 2 sorry for the handwriting it's not easy and what will be sine كمان half now 1 minute guys so this is radical 3 minus radical over 2 هون عم نقول نحن 6 pi over 6 اللي هي الباي نحن already did it before ما رح ارجع اعيدها هون here now both are negative بس I will look at cosine يعني العكس هي minus radical 3 over 2 so this point is minus radical 3 over 2 and the sine is minus half. بيجي على هيدا يا حية it's minus half minus radical 3 over 2 نجي على 11 باي على 5 باي over 3 الكوسين is here it's half so هيدا half and the sine is minus radical 3 over 2 نحن بالquadrant here it's negative the sine is negative and the last one يا حية الكوسين is minus radical 3 over 2 and the sine is minus half. That's it. هون قلنا sine and cosine are positive. Here cosine is negative, sine is positive. هون both are negative and here cosine is plus, sine is negative. هيك ما بضيعوش. That's it. This is the second unit circle. هلا we will go to the formulas that you need to memorize. It's very important those formulas. How do you know it from brevet? Sine square alpha plus cosine square alpha is equal to 1. 1 plus tangent square is 1 over cosine. هون إذا بعمل أنا cross multiply guys يعني باخدها بهيدا as a block this one. بتصير cosine is equal 1 over 1 plus tangent square. أو كأنه أنا عم بعمل reciprocal. يعني if you flip 1 over cosine بتصير cosine square is equal 1 over 1 plus tangent square. The same 1 plus cotangent square is equal 1 over sine square. Sine square is 1 over 1 plus cotangent square. We know that sine and cosine are between minus 1 and 1. We know that tangent هي sine over cosine. We know that cotangent هي cosine over sine وهي 1 over tangent. هول بتعرفون كلهم من البروفي. I think those two are new بس. Part C and this is very important. Angle or associated arc. كتير مهمة هيدي. يعني what is the relation between cosine alpha minus cosine alpha. هلا التانجنت والكوتانجنت مس انا ما كثير بركز عليهم لانه انا you can find those already من الساين اند كوساين يعني التانجنت هي